candle. Okay, I'd like to call to order the regular City Council meeting of Monday, October 25th, 2010, with a roll call, please.
Mayor Martini?
Here.
City Clerk Patterson here. Council members Ratty, absent. Salerno?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
Kerrigan?
Here.
Schmidt?
Here.
City Manager Carey?
Here.
City Attorney Adams?
Here.
Okay, Councilwoman Ratty will not be with us today. She had a death in the family, so she's attending a funeral. So her uncle passed away. Okay, if you could all stand for the invocation, please. Reverend Kathy Hopner, St. Paul's Episcopal Church. Welcome, Reverend.
Let us pray. Gracious God, behold and visit, we pray, the cities of this earth. Renew the ties of mutual regard which form our civic life. Send us honest and able leaders. Enable us to eliminate poverty, prejudice, and oppression, that peace may prevail with righteousness and justice with order, and that women and men from differing cultures and with differing talents may find with one another the fulfillment of their humanity. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend. We appreciate your time today. You can remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Smith, would you lead us, please?
Sure, would you join me, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next is comments from the public. If you want to speak under comments from the public, please fill out a card. I have two here. Catherine T. Terry, come on up, please. Right up here, and make sure the microphone is on. Just have a seat if you'd like. And you have 3 minutes once you get started, Catherine.
Okay. Okay, so are you ready?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so what my proposal is that Fargo from Bering to Howard, first off, is the only part of Sparks Boulevard that does not have a sound wall, and we want one. And if I have to get petition signed or whatever I have to do, I'll do that. Everywhere else on Sparks Boulevard has one, and the noise is horrendous. It is bad. Also, my husband on September 10th was stabbed by one of the teenagers from the high school, 14-year-old freshman, and his little friends jumped him in our front yard because he asked them to move along because they were swearing and cussing. And we are done. They've broken the windshield of our boat. They've down our street with red spray paint, rocks in our backyard that hit the kids in the head, harassing our dogs, garbage, trash. It's just continual. On Saturday, just this last Saturday, I had a kid threaten my life because he was fighting with his girlfriend at our fence, and I asked him to move along. So he said, "I'll kill you, you effing B, blah, 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 blah." I'm sure you get the... And I said, really? Seriously? You know, where are your parents? We just can't have it. Our children are in danger. We're in danger. Our property is in danger. Our dogs are in danger. All of our neighborhood is feeling the same way. We want those kids stopped from going down that street. So we propose that you shut it off. And while you're building that brick wall, you just keep on going. So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay, have you called the police and stuff on
yeah, just in the police presence and the grip that we have to call. I mean, it's so frequent that just in that alone, you'll make your money back in a year.
Okay. Catherine, if you could give your, we have your information, we've got everything here, your phone number and everything. Sean, could you, I see you writing notes and stuff, so could you follow up with Catherine about the wall and, with the police? Go ahead.
Yes, we'll go ahead and begin a review by the Public Works Department and our Police Department and work with the resident and this council to come up with some options.
And you'll see on the last map that I printed for you, it shows the orange is where the high school is, the yellow is where we are and where Howard ends into Sparks Boulevard, and both of the pink are the police station and our nearby fire station number 2. They both have access to everything they need to. They generally don't come down Howard. They don't use that exit to Sparks Boulevard. Everywhere they need to be is usually in a neighborhood, so they go different ways.
Okay. We have a question, Mr. Schmidt?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess my concern on this, I think we needed before to go take a look at things. There's two different issues, the sound wall and the police. I'd like to ask if the police department could get us the numbers for this area recently, say the last 12 months, because I know this neighborhood in particular has starting to, last summertime we had 2 shooting incidents in the neighborhood. This summertime we haven't had any shootings that I'm aware of. We've had some shots fired, but I don't think we've had any shootings.
We had some kids actually bring guns to the high school.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
and I think one of the overarching issues here is the high school and how we can have the
Make it
Washington
close
County
campus.
School District, start getting some officers over there and start doing this. So I think there's a couple different things that need to be worked on, but I'd like to see the numbers in that neighborhood of what's it been looking like lately.
Well, and I'm sure they're going to see a lot of that from us, too. We're just not the kind of people that are going to sit down and wait for something to happen again. We're going to be proactive. We're going to go out there and we're going to stop it. I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. I can't have these teenage kids that are unsupervised destroying my family, my neighborhood, and my home. I can't have it. It's just not going to happen.
Appreciate it, and we'll get the issues started, take a look at.
Thank you very much.
Please be careful, Catherine.
Yeah, we are extremely careful.
Okay.
Yes.
Next is Randy Burke. Come on up, Randy.
I remember Ames Small, Miss Small.
Yeah.
Mayor, City Council, my name is Randy Burke. I'm from Roadshows Entertainment here in the local community. I just wanted to take a minute of your time today to thank you, each and every one of you, for your support of our Street Vibrations Festival for 2010, both the spring and the fall events. Both of them were great successes and translated in some very positive energy and revenue streams for the community. I would like to tell you how proud we are to be able to have your blessing to produce in the city of Sparks, both in the spring and the fall. And I'd like him here today to ask for your continued blessing for 2011. We will have our paperwork into Parks and Recreation tomorrow for both dates. Thank you very much.
Randy, thank you for bringing some of that to Sparks. We really appreciate it. I was down there during the event several times, and there was a lot of people down there, and they were all well-behaved, and they're good people, and they spend money. So we appreciate what you're doing in road shows and with Street Vibrations. And, I said before, somebody complained about there wasn't enough downtown Reno action, and I said, I think the game here is people come here, they have a good time, and they should go to where they have the best time so they'll come back again next year. So we appreciate you coming down to Sparks.
Well, thank you, Mayor. And, it's such a pleasure to produce in Sparks. The Victorian Square venue is so user-friendly for festivals. And your special event production team works in concert with our folks, the fire department, police department, the facilities, and I can't say enough about the electricians. I mean, they're the greatest. And so, again, thanks for having us.
You bet. We got some more questions. Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Randy, I just want to make sure for the record on out there, for those who live in Reno or Washington County, City of Sparks did not approach you about bringing your event to the City of Sparks. You approached the Nugget and process. We had no intervention with you in bringing that second event to the City of Sparks.
That's true.
Just make sure for the record, because we're being blamed for stealing the event out of Reno, and that's not the case. So.
No, that's not true. We came of our own volition.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith.
And your setup was wonderful down there. We went down when you were setting up, and the best thing, I like people think of motorcycles in trouble. Every police report said no problems for every day. So we're not getting the bad types in here. We're getting people, like the mayor said, spend money, and they come up to have a good time, and they had a good time in Sparks. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, your team under Sergeant Chad Hawkins, again, true professionals to work with, and that makes the production look easy.
Yeah, well, it was great.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you.
Appreciate you taking the time to come down.
Thank you.
Okay, next is approval of the agenda. Anyone want to take anything out of order? Not looking for a motion? Mr. Smith?
Move to approve.
You have a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Smith, seconded by Councilman Kerrigan to approve the agenda as outlined by staff. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously with those present. Next is recommendation to approve minutes of the October 11th, 2010 meeting. Any additions or corrections? If not, looking for a motion. Mr. Smith.
Move to approve.
Mr. Kerrigan.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Smith, seconded by Councilman Kerrigan to approve the regular meeting minutes of October 11th, 2010. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Announcements, presentations. We have a proclamation for Community Planning Month. Is there someone here to receive this? Come on down. Cast of thousands.
The gang's all here.
Welcome. I'll go ahead and read the proclamation, then I'll give you a chance to say a few words. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, rural areas, and other places, and community planning can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people live, work, and recreate. And whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community. And whereas the full benefits of planning require public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. And whereas the American Planning Association, APA, is a professional institute, the American Institute of Certified Planners, and the Northern Nevada APA chapter endorse National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight the contributions sound planning and plan implementation contribute to the quality of life for our region, our communities, and the environment. And whereas local planners, in partnership with public and private sector entities and individuals, have established the Northern Nevada Transportation Collaborative and its inaugural event, the 2010 Sustainability Summit, to address issues of mobility, economy, and livability. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month is an opportunity to publicly recognize the Planning Commission members and other citizen planners who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of Sparks. And whereas we recognize the valuable contributions made by professional community and regional planners of Sparks and extend our sincere appreciation for their continued support to public service. Now, therefore, I, Gino R. Martini, Mayor of the City of Sparks, Nevada, do hereby proclaim October 2010 Community Planning Month.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman, thank you very much for this recognition. My name is Andy Derling. I'm the Northern Nevada Director for the American Planning Association. On behalf of the Nevada chapter of APA, thank you very much for this. Just want to recognize Armando Anales, the Sparks planning staff, your planning commission, and yourselves as community planners for your ongoing involvement in our organization and just the great assets that you all are to our professional planning community. The American Planning Association is an independent, not-for-profit educational organization that provides leadership in the development of vital communities by advocating excellence in community planning, promoting education, and citizen empowerment. As your local chapter, we host regular educational and social events, as well as hosting a state planning conference every odd-numbered year. At the end of this year, we'll begin planning for our 2011 conference, which will be right here in Sparks. We've also been working very hard to collaborate with other professional organizations and government entities to provide a first-class educational platform for planning involvement in our community. Most notably is the formation of the Northern Nevada Transportation Collaborative and our inaugural event, the 2010 Sustainability Summit, which I'd like to have Lee Gibson share more of the vision for that.
Welcome, Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Andy. Members of the City Council, it's a pleasure to be here today. The Sustainability Summit that Andy referred to is an event that will be occurring on December 13th and 14th this year. And really what it's all about is bringing some of our best local thinkers, regional thinkers together to look at the question of transportation, livability, and economy, and begin to focus our long-term thinking, our long-term visioning process towards how we can better leverage transportation to help deal with economic change, improve livability, and help our region prosper and grow. We think it's a number of interesting sessions will be held, including an exercise on looking at the Olympics, but also looking at the question of public participation in the planning process and how we can work to bring about a more full view and consensus on our projects and our design concepts, and better work with our customers in delivering projects that not just only create jobs, but create value for our economy. This will be an exciting event. We're looking forward to great participation. Registration is now open, and we're looking forward to everyone who's helped us out, and we invite all of you all to come out and participate and enjoy. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, Mr. Smith?
Lee, thanks for coming down today, and this is a question about the Olympics. After you have your discussions about the possibility of getting the Olympics here, could you give us, the council, an update? Because I don't think the people of Sparks really realize what it's going to take, just on the transportation side, to put on this event if we get the bid.
Actually, I try not to think about what it's going to take, because it's pretty fun.
It's very intensive. Yes,
it's very intensive, and I'll start by addressing that question. A very good friend of mine, who I believe, Councilman Smith, you had the opportunity to meet, John English, who's head of the Utah Transit Authority, was actually going to be one of our speakers at the summit. And as John told me, he said, Lee, I can sit you down and talk you into this, or I can talk you out of it. Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's going to be monumental. Well, clearly, he can talk me into it, but we have a number of initiatives related to highway projects we'll have to deal with transit projects we'll have to deal with, and John Halloran, of course, can address the issue of the events center and the venues better. But we are going to have to go through a pretty intensive planning process, and we're going to have to go through it in the next 18 months.
Well, and I want to know how Sparks can help the efforts. That's the whole deal. And if you don't do it by me asking here, I can force the issue in the RTC side and make it come back.
First, I invite you to force it at the RTC. Secondly, I will tell you Sparks can help. Clearly, Sparks, first off, has a significant number of the region's hotel rooms, and that's where folks are going to stay. Secondly, Sparks is a strong partner in the RTC. There is a strong multimodal connection, historic with the railroad. Sparks and the mountains. We could be, I want to say could, I don't want to make any promises, but we could be looking at connections to Truckee for passenger rail to move people up and down the mountains to the venues. This is a community-wide collaborative effort for the Olympics. At least that's how I've been, brought into this. And I think all of us together, working together, is the only way we can put forth a winning bid, but most importantly, make the local commitments to the transportation and other infrastructure elements that will make this a success for us, for our region, for our nation. So we're going to be hearing a lot more about this. I guarantee it.
Okay, anyone else? Okay. Thanks, gentlemen. Appreciate your time. Okay, let's move on to 4.2, presentation of the City of Sparks annual report for fiscal year 09-10. Teresa. And Jenny. Jen, I know. Jen.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the Council. Teresa Gardner, Administrative Analyst. And I have with me Jen McCall, an HR Analyst. Today we're going to present to you the annual report. This is a citywide annual report for fiscal year 09-10. This report was produced with a team of representatives, everybody coming together to get the information documented in one document. I'd really like to thank Jen for her assistance in pulling this together. The paper copy that you have, and if you don't have it and you need one, we have more, the clerk has some, has two minor changes from the online version. One is just the acknowledgement of municipal court on page 19, and one is an acknowledgement of senior staff on page 43. Otherwise, it's the same as the online version. And I have sent that to the clerk for the record. To summarize the annual report, it starts off with a message from our city manager on page 2. We have a summary of the responsibilities of the mayor and council and commissions and committees on pages 3 and 4. We have financial information following that on pages 5 through 7. And then we have the strategic goals, vision, mission for the time period of fiscal year 09-10. That's on pages 3 and 4. And then later in the document, page 43, we show the proposed vision, mission, and strategic goals going forward into 10-11. And then each department provides information with accomplishments and challenges throughout the year, the fiscal year of 09-10, and finish up with just what we expect going forward. We plan to distribute this by an email to all city employees. We'll post it on the internet and intranet. There will be copies available at the table outside of the mayor's office. And if you need any additional copies, you can let me know, and I'd be happy to provide them. And any questions?
Anything, Jen?
No, Teresa did a great job.
Yeah, it's a great document, it really is. It'll be something we'll be able to use. Appreciate all your hard work. And I know it's not easy to do and to produce, but it really turned out to be a first-class document, really.
Thank you. Well, it was a team effort, definitely.
Sure, always is. Questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Okay, consent items. Anybody want to pull a consent item? If not, looking for a motion. Might as well go, right?
Okay, move to approve consent items 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3.
Have a second? Mr. Salerno.
Second.
Moved by Ron Smith, seconded by Phil Salerno to approve agenda item, consent items 5.1 through 5.3. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Okay, moving on to 6.1, presentation and possible direction on the updated City of Sparks fiscal year 2011 through 16 strategic plan. Teresa again.
Okay, Teresa Gardner, Administrative Analyst. And I'm also presenting to you the strategic plan for 2011-16. This plan is based on the council retreat that we had July 27th and your comments and discussion that took place during that retreat. After the retreat, there was a few sessions with senior staff and development of the vision and mission statements and finalization of the goals. The vision is to be the city of choice for residents, businesses, and visitors. The mission states by establishing financial stability and effective work environment during uncertain times, the City of Sparks will provide a safe environment, economic development, special events, cost-effective sustainable services, and opportunities for citizen involvement. The strategic plan was set up with 6 goals. 2 of those are the core goals, and they are financial stability, to provide fiscal policies to ensure a prosperous city, and employee relations, provide a successful and effective work environment. And then the strategic goals that are based upon those principles are to promote the safety of our residents, businesses, and visitors, to explore and promote opportunities for economic development and special events, manage resources to keep pace with technology, infrastructure, and sustainability needs, and lastly, to encourage citizens to interact with their city government and build strong alliances with other government entities. The goals and objectives are based on what we know today. Should significant changes occur that affect the direction of the city, the plan will be revised. The next step to the plan would be to relate performance measures to the objectives. The plan also includes core values, customer service values, and commitment and diversity statements. And that's it. Any questions?
Questions? Mr. Kerrigan?
I just have a comment. I just wanted to thank the team for putting this together. I think this is one that's simple, easy to read and understand, and I think this is probably one of the best strategic plans we've had. And I think in a time of, the unknown, I think it's really a good plan. So thank you so much for everybody.
Anyone else? You've done good, Teresa.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Appreciate it. Okay, next is 6.2, consideration and possible award of the Police Department Photovoltaic Project Phase 2 to Steve C. Hamilton, Inc. in the amount of $1,091,024. Mr. Etchart.
Thank you. Pete Etchart, City Engineer. I just want to give you a quick update on our photovoltaic projects. I'm kind of updating you every few months on this. Just for a little background, December 14th, 2009, you awarded a contract for future ground-mounted and covered parking photovoltaic systems on a cost-per-watt basis with Steve C. Hamilton, Inc. Under this contract, the city has currently completed photovoltaic projects at Fire Station 4 and at Fire Station number 5. On April 21st, the city submitted 500 kilowatt applications to NV Energy for rebates through their solar generations program. And there were obviously a lot of issues that we had to work through between April and September. But on September 9th, the city did receive all 5 rebate reservation letters from NV Energy. In the agenda item before you today, I detail the timelines associated with when the rebate incentives would be paid. And I've been working with the Finance Department regarding financing and cash flow issues. And I really want to thank the Finance Department for all their assistance in this. But thankfully, since the time this agenda item was submitted, the Public Utilities Commission of Nevada has issued an order that will allow all the rebates to be paid upon the completion of the projects, which obviously helps immensely with our cash flow issues. And as I always want to state on these projects are completely paid for through grants and rebates, and no general fund money is used. With receiving these rebates, we are, however, under a timeline to get the projects completed. All of the projects must be completed by September 9th, 2011. And in regards to the 5 rebates, our first rebate is being used for Phase 1 at the Police Department, which is currently under construction. And that was the one that was being financed with the RS stimulus funds under the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant Program. That project will probably be completed here in the next several weeks. The Phase 2 item before you today will use 2 more of the rebates, and coupled with the Phase 1 project will provide approximately 300 kilowatts of photovoltaic power at the Police Department. This project will pretty much fill up that back secured parking lot with covered parking that will be producing power. The total project should provide the city about $60,000 annually in electrical savings. And lastly, we are working on a plan regarding the use of the last 2 rebates, and I plan on probably being back in front of you probably around December with a plan for those last 2 remaining rebates. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Peter, we're going to have any trouble expending these funds or getting them done, do you think?
No.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. Because I know we had some angst about the way they were going about funding them, and there were some issues with NV Energy where they're not, and then that all got worked out, and now we're on the road to something good.
That's correct. I'm just kind of waiting for them to reopen the application periods. I'm hoping they reopen it soon because we have other projects we could actually go in for applications rebates on. But I haven't heard yet when they're going to reopen it.
So is this going to be a matter of where you have to be in front of your computer at 6 o'clock in the morning again or something, or?
I hope not.
Okay.
It's supposed to be actually an ongoing process. The whole goal is that you could submit programs anytime and then get in the queue for getting rebates, and that's what I'm hoping that ultimately we'll have with this program.
Good. Mr. Smith.
How much of total power usage is this going to supply for the police department?
I don't have actually with me the kilowatt hours, but it's about 300 kilowatt system, and right now in 2008 we needed about an 800 kilowatt system would have provided 100% of the power. Actually, it was interesting. In 2009, our energy use went down by about 5% at the police department. Unfortunately, the cost savings didn't go down quite 5% because energy prices seem to continually go up. but we did use less power. This, between the 300 kilowatts, I think we're going to be close to half the power usage at the police station. We're also doing a lot of energy conservation projects at the police department. I think when you couple both those together, we should be over half of the power usage. Energy saved through energy conservation is always more important than actually energy generation.
The $300,000 we received about a month ago, was that used for this project, or is that reserved for another project?
Some of it actually is being used here. We've kind of gone on a rolling basis with our rebates. As we do a project and we have some federal funds, we get the rebate, we use that rebate for the next project, and then we get a rebate, and we just kind of keep going. So we've kind of got a long-term plan to keep using those rebates and provide as much renewable energy as we can in the city of Sparks.
Well, I know, I appreciate all the hard work you do to get us those rebates, because I know you work hard on that, so thank you.
Well, thank you.
Easy. Any more questions? If not, looking for a motion. Ron Smith.
Move to approve the contract for the Police Department photovoltaic project, Phase 2 to Steve C. Hamilton in the amount of $1,091,024 as outlined.
Kerrigan.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Smith, second by Councilman Kerrigan to approve agenda item 6.2 as outlined by staff. Any further questions? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Okay, 6.3, consideration and possible approval of an interlocal cooperative agreement with the Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County. Go ahead, Pete.
This is our annual item regarding review and approval of an interlocal cooperative agreement with the Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County for roadway projects associated with the Regional Road Impact Fee Program and our fuel tax program. And today, to present this, is Lee Gibson, the Executive Director from the RTC, and also Jeff Hale, the Engineering Director. I'll turn it over to them. We have a...
Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. We're here today before you to present the projects, programs in our interlocal cooperative agreement. While often you hear much about our big projects such as the Southeast Connector, we also have a large portfolio of projects that deal with our regional streets and highways that we believe are important, and we'd like to run through those with you today. I do want to make a comment with respect to the program. There is a line item in there for corridor studies. We have been working with your staff to move the Audi Boulevard and the Nichols Boulevard corridor evaluations. They are, while not listed in PowerPoint today, they are included in the program, and we are ready to move forward. We are moving forward with those, and I think we'll be able to come up with some innovative and creative projects and solutions for those two areas. So with that, I'll let Jeff Hale, our Engineering Director, go through the interlocal cooperative agreement and the projects. Jeff?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. Just wanted to run quickly through our program at RTC in support of the interlocal cooperative agreement that we're asking for your approval on today. Give you a brief overview of our 2010 program, talk about the 11 and 12 proposed pavement preservation program, and then capacity improvement projects update. Within the street and highway program for calendar year 10, the third year of our $80 million a year bonding program that we're just wrapping up, we have actually awarded now close to almost the full $95 million in roadway projects for the year. You can see there on the map on the left the projects that were done, the red lines around the area. The preventative maintenance program, our strategy or our goal is keeping good roads good. It's a 7-year cycle. Our first 7-year cycle for the slurry seal was just wrapped up. It uses about $5.5 million a year, gives us very good results, and does a good job on extending life of our roads. The pavement preservation program, it's an integrated approach amongst ourselves, City of Sparks and Reno and Washoe County. We have a regional pavement management system where we track road conditions. We develop projects based on need, and we continuously coordinate closely with all the local agencies. This is just a little schematic about how represents the life cycle of a pavement. As you can see up here, the life, it's brand new. As time goes on, it starts to degrade and drop off. The idea is you want to hit it with rehab and treatments up here before it starts falling off to keep pavements up in this area. It's very effective, low cost to preserve the life of our pavement. Once you let it get down here, it gets down into the 55 area, and our pavement condition index gets very, very expensive to bring back. So our program is doing a very good job of keeping projects up here in the top band of that graph. The pavement preservation overall, historically, since 1992, when we first got our nickel fuel tax, you can see what the pavement condition index was relatively low. At that time, we were rebuilding pavements from the bottom up. Basically, the entire roadway section would have to get rehabilitated. As we moved forward in time, we began to get indexed fuel tax, and you can see how the pavement condition indexes have improved over the years. We're now no longer fixing the roads that were severely damaged or in poor shape. Now we are maintaining them in very good condition. Our goal for all roads is to have an average pavement condition of no less than 70. How are we doing? Right now it's 76, so we're doing very well there. Our goal is also to have no more than 6% of our pavements with a PCI below 40, an individual PCI below 40. We're at 9% now, so you can see we clearly have some work to do, but we're overall in pretty good shape. There's the breakdown there. The pavement preservation program, as I said, is needs-based. We need about $5.5 million a year for the preventative maintenance. That's our patching and our slurry seal program, and then about $16 million to support our reconstruct and corrective actions. We also have a $2 million element in there for safe streets, which will allow sidewalk construction, some landscape buffer areas where the locals want to see that type of improvement. Also some transit routes on the local streets. I have in there a Plum Lane project just to illustrate that some of these projects can come up on the radar where they may need drainage improvements or more significant improvements, possibly need right-of-way that we don't normally see, and we just want to make it known that once we have these projects, if we identify sidewalk needs, there's going to be special treatments that are needed. We'll work closely with staff and get the word out that we're going to have a little bit more involvement in some of these projects. There's an overview of the projects that are in the interlocal cooperative agreement for 11 and 12. We'll have projects going on in 11 next year that were actually approved as part of the prior interlocal cooperative agreement. So this does not represent all the work that's being done in 2011 and 12. The Regional Road Impact Fee, another area that we have, another program. We run the Bicycle PED program, and right now we're developing the Bicycle Pedestrian Plan, and also working to develop an integrated traffic management program, tying all the local entities together with a method for traffic and emergency management, being able to handle and mitigate congestion as it comes up. Ultimately, we'll have a centralized location for that type of information. Also, we're contributing money towards the I-80 Design Build project that NDOT is doing, and we also received a Department of Energy grant to improve some pedestrian signal and street lighting with LEDs. That's it. Any questions? Gary.
Yes, I know in the last year, Washoe County was no longer able to continue sending a portion of their county gas tax towards the RTC regional roads. And I was just wondering what impacts that has had within the RTC's ability to complete its mission on regional roads.
Mr. Carey, I believe you're talking about the portion that the county decided to keep back for maintenance purposes. With respect to our regional road program, that's had little impact today. However, I'm always cognizant of our cash flows, and I'm paying close attention to the fact that should we slow down in any of the projects that have been programmed in our current TIP and CIP, believe you me, I'll be calling the county and raising that question, because we have seen good growth in the RTC 5 revenues that have been coming in, and so far we see the revenues keeping pace with our project needs. That's, however, been coupled, and I want to qualify my comment with, we've also seen the best bid prices we've ever seen, so that keeping the revenue up, keeping the bid prices down, we're able to stay on course, but it is something in these fiscally difficult times we are mindful of with respect to Washoe County. and I believe this was a subject that was raised at our retreat recently, where this was a question brought forward by representatives from the city of Reno, and I am assured that there is some ongoing dialogue with respect to what future policy may be. So stay tuned.
John. Mr. Schmidt?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question is in regards to, it appears in this interlocal agreement that the I-80 freeway project is going to be part of this agreement.
No, this agreement is separate from the I-80 freeway agreement.
Okay, I have a paragraph in here that addresses the I-80 as part of the interlocal agreement.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was just that was an update on what that's part of our regional road impact fee
Well, it
program
says,
where we have.
says here to me that, including AB 595, to include reallocation of 3 cents of property taxes revenue earmarked for capital projects in Washoe and Clark County, $30 million, state service transportation program, $10 million, equity bonus, $20 million, LHIP highway infrastructure funds, $5 million, state gas tax, $5 million, and local surface transportation fund, $10 million, included in this RTC interlocal cooperative agreement.
I stand corrected, it is in there.
So then, are you telling me that the 10 million, I see 2 or 3 sources of local revenue funds being used here that normally would not be used on a federal highway project? Am I correct?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Schmidt, could you repeat the question again?
I'm seeing 2 or 3 local funds of money being used on a federal highway project that we normally don't do.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Schmidt, those funds are, I believe they're pass-through funds. Our Director of Planning, Amy Cummings, just whispered in my ear that this is part of the Regional Transportation Plan TIP amendment that the RTC adopted at its last meeting. Those pass-through funds will go in conjunction with these funds towards the I-80 improvements. The I-80 improvements are a combination of local, state, and federal funds that we put together in order to move that project forward. The local funds are going towards the capacity increasing pieces that are included in that project design concept and scope, along with the federal STP funds. There are NDOT and federal funds that are designed for maintenance that are going strictly to the pavement rehabilitation and reconstruction phase of that project. So I don't know if that answered the question.
What do we get out of this for Sparks Boulevard? Cloverleaf?
We're going to get we'll get the new interchange, and we're going to get the better connections on all of the interchanges included in that project.
Part of that also includes the auxiliary lanes out from Vista to.
My question contains where we're going with, ICE-T money. Federal money's always been on for federal highways, okay? Now I see us saying, okay, we're going to quasi-make a policy here that we can divert local tax revenues without the citizens' permission to move into not local streets, but federally highway projects. Is that the direction that we're going here?
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Schmidt, we have in the past, for example, on the US 395 project, worked cooperatively with NDOT, and we have jointly funded both with RTC 5 and federal funds projects on the interstate system. And on the I-80 project, it's the same intention here. We're using our STP local funds, along with other funds NDOT obtains from its federal sources, to move this project forward. The project's a little bit different because originally it was conceived of as a maintenance project. It was conceived of as going out there and reconstructing those pavements that I think we all agree have deteriorated significantly over time. What we've done is we've included some capacity increases, such as the auxiliary lane, the Cloverleaf, and better connections with the interchanges through Sparks and Reno to help improve and increase capacity slightly so that we can offer a better level of service. So yes, to answer your question, we are using joint regional resources, local resources, federal resources, and state resources for these projects when the opportunity avails themselves.
Normally, what the city council has done and been normal policy is those are requests made to our federal officials that are funded with federal dollars, not local taxpayer dollars. So we have decided as RTC and local government that we will now take local funds that are supposed to be going to local streets and use them on federal highway projects. You're saying you've done it on 395, now you're doing it on Interstate 80. Is that correct?
Mr. Mayor, yes, Councilman Schmidt, that is correct. We do that throughout the region. We do that on Pyramid McCarran. We have a number of federal earmarks, Pyramid Corridor. The fact of the matter is, I think Susan Martinovich would stand here and agree with me, the federal resources we see are continuing to decline.
I'm not going to argue that fact at all. All I'm telling you, we owe the taxpayers here a story. We need to tell the taxpayers, and I'll get to my issue in just a minute. I just want to make sure this $10 million that we're going to use, is those RTC 5 funds?
Those are, I know that.
They're fuel tax.
$10 million coming from RTC. Is that RTC 5 funds?
It's part of the fuel tax fund and the STP local funding. That is also what RTC has the ability to spend in its area.
Okay. When we did the RTC 5 question, was Interstate 80 listed as a project that we were going to use that money on?
I would imagine.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Schmidt, the I-80 project has been, there were two parts to the I-80 project. There was the maintenance piece, which has been part of our plans, part of our programs for a number of years, part of the state initiative. The auxiliary lane and the changes to the interchange were the ones that were added recently to our plan because they are increasing capacity. So what we did was we took the opportunity to leverage the ability to leverage NDOT's advancement of the maintenance project to go ahead and advance the capacity increasing piece consistent with our long-range plans and policies. So
I don't believe my question is answered. This is a yes or no question. When you put to the ballot, this is very important. We're in election season right now, and this is one of my pet peeves, is when we put things on ballots, we tell citizens what their money is going to be used for. Was the Interstate 80 expansion project part of RTC 5, or any stretch of the imagination can we say that we intended on that money being used for that?
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Schmidt, I was not living in northern Nevada when the ballot initiative was put forward. I have read the ballot initiative. The ballot initiative addressed a number of projects, or I should say a number of programs to deal with traffic congestion, job creation, congestion relief, air quality improvement. The policy of the Regional Transportation Commission with respect to RTC 5 monies is that we will continually monitor our plans and our programs, and we will program program RTC 5 funds to the projects that, through our planning process, we ascertain and determine will be in the best interest of regional mobility and development.
See, and I might be really wrong here, and please, I want you to go ahead and prove me wrong on this fact, but RTC 5 had a list of projects and reasons that money was going to be used for. That's what you told the voters. Now, I'm going to ask that I'm provided, this council is provided, that list of projects that RTC 5 was supposed to be funded when you went to the voters. You don't have the ability that I'm aware of that once you have the money that you can change the ballot question. I'm not aware you can do that.
Mr. Schmidt, let me answer this question. Not all projects were listed on the RTC 5 ballot. For instance, Audie Boulevard is not on the RTC 5 ballot, neither is Nichols Road, the connection to the marina. None of those are listed. RTC 5 is to be used just as Director Gibson said. I mean, we've got a lot of projects that aren't listed and projects that will pop up in the future. RTC 5 will pay for those projects. With the $10 million going to the Interstate 80 project, we get the cloverleaf. They're also going to do landscaping all along the freeway there that we don't have now, and matter of fact was brought up at the opening of the Victorian Avenue, the little ceremony we had there. So you're not going to see every project listed now or tomorrow.
I think that we can defend that if we bring the language of the ballot question and make sure that it says any future projects we deem necessary can be done. We can justify that. And I'll get back to my issue when it comes to federal versus local. We have a very big problem as local government called unfunded mandates. It hands down from the federal government, hands down from the state government, and it costs the taxpayers of this community millions of dollars to do unfunded mandates. We've complained to the federal government, we've complained to the state government, and exactly what we're doing right now is letting the state and the federal government off the hook, saying not only now are we going to give you more unfunded mandates, but we're going to go ahead and let you pay for services and things, voluntarily pay for services and things that we used to provide in the past. So we're sending a very clear message to our elected officials in Carson City, very clear message to our elected officials in Washington, D.C. Don't fund anything in Nevada anymore because we'll come to your aid. We can take care of it. We got the money to do it. I don't like that message being sent to our elected officials.
You know, Ron, I think that you have to look at projects like Pyramid and McCarran, which is an NDOT right-of-way, but that we're working cooperatively with them to get that thing done. And if you want to cut off all funding, then we won't get those projects done. Exactly. We have to work with NDOT on certain projects, not every project. But
Hey, are we losing any of the projects that were promised on the ballot question? Are we losing any of those because we're funding this?
Mr. Mayor, no, we are not. In fact, we've been able to add projects to our portfolio.
That's the important thing to me, is that we're not losing what we told the voters we were going to do. And now, because bid process has been good, we're getting projects in with less money. We got money left over that we can do other projects. This is going to be a project that's going to be very beneficial to the city of Sparks. So we're not doing anything that we haven't promised the voters, are we?
Mr. Chairman, to my knowledge, no. In fact, I'm pleased to report, and I'd go back to Jeff's presentation, the amount of money we delivered this year actually exceeded our budgeted amount because of those good bid prices. We were able to bring a number of projects forward and advance them. And so from RTC's perspective, we're actually moving forward faster than our plan had originally outlined.
And I think that's what we're all here for, are we not? To do projects, to have jobs for people out there. Isn't that the main process we're trying to get through here?
Mr. Mayor, that's the orders from my bosses.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, seeing no further questions, I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Smith.
I move to approve the interlocal cooperative agreement with the RTC for year ending 2/11/2/12, street and highway program of projects.
Mr. Kerrigan.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Smith, seconded by Mr. Kerrigan to approve agenda item 6.3. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes 3-1. Mr. Schmidt is a nay. Thanks, gentlemen.
Mr. Mayor,
appreciate your time.
We'll be back with status reports.
Keep up the good stuff and doing those jobs at less money so we can have more of these projects, please.
All right, thank you.
No downside there. Okay, next, public and zoning, planning, comments from the city council and city manager. Mr. Smith.
Well, I would just like to take this opportunity to thank Councilman Salerno for his service to the city of Sparks, and we appreciate it and wish you luck on whatever you do in the future.
Thank you.
Now, I wasn't planning on this being your last meeting because you can still be here on the 8th, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We hope to see you on the 8th, so this may not be your last one.
I was wondering if he was going somewhere.
Well,
I thought I missed something.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay, anyone else? Okay, seeing no further business, we're adjourned.